Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content that I'm making, please click that subscribe button. Also remember to click that bell button and make sure to tick that box to send all notifications so you don't miss out on any videos. With that in mind, let's get on with the video. What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another episode of Adventurers Chat Log. And this week, we've got Christine Langer back with us. Hello, hello.
Hello again. Hello again. I'm back.
Yeah, you missed out for what? A week? Last
2
week?
weeks.
Yeah, so it's nice to have
I've
you
been
back.
busy.
Deli won't be joining us today. She's a bit busy trying to level, I think. So this week's topic for Adventurers Chat Log, we've got a few here just to pan out the episodes, and I have sent Chris the topics, so hopefully he's ready to answer some of our questions. So the first topic that I want to talk about this week is, should tanks be pulling more than one pack at a time? Now, since you're a healer, what do you think about this question?
That question is actually complicated, but ideally, in my opinion, tanks should be pulling more as long as your party can handle it.
I completely agree, and some of the stuff is definitely if your healer is geared enough, your DPS is good
definitely.
enough. I think the DPS sort of, I mean, if they're okay-ish,
it's important.
yeah, if they're okay-ish, you can sort of still pull more than one pack. You can do 2 packs at a time or whatever. And more importantly, is your tank geared enough?
Of course, that's that's the first thing. Of course.
Yeah.
Like, I do remember during launch of Stormblood, and you got these tanks that are just very excited to pull packs.
Yep.
And we've just like have the latest dungeon gear. It's still hard.
Yeah.
So it's up to the tank's discretion.
Because now that I'm maining Paladin, what I normally do is I check just the healer. I only check the healer now.
Yeah, that's acceptable since it's a high level dungeon.
Yeah. And earlier today, actually, we did the expert roulette, and I think for 3 in a row, we got tanks pulling more than once, which is kind of odd. Being in a Japanese server, usually they only like to pull one, set mobs at a time. I was healing that as well, so it wasn't that difficult. We were in Shirogane Castle, I believe it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. People like to pull mobs there now since the player base is overgeared for the content now.
Yeah. So I feel like, if you guys feel like tanks should be pulling more, you can actually try and talk to them and say, hey, you can pull more than that. Not a lot of people do, because for me and Ashika, or Chris, I like to call him Ashika, we're in a Japanese server, so sometimes it's very hard to tell the tank if they're Japanese, or the healer if they're Japanese, that hey, we're gonna pull a lot, so just watch out.
I think it's also that if you're the tank, since you've been tanking, you can get a feel for your party.
On the first, if you do a
first people,
if you do a big first pull and you feel like it's really slow, it's probably not a good idea to keep continuing that. There's probably a DPS problem. You might be getting healed okay, but if there's a DPS problem, it's actually going to take you a little bit longer.
It's dangerous because your healer's going to run out of mana.
And healer ran out of mana, you ran out of cooldowns. There's not a whole lot of actual cooldowns now to reduce the incoming damage.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're a paladin. Basically, you've got Rampart and Sentinel, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
Bulwark helps, but it doesn't really, do a lot.
Yeah.
And of course, you got Hallowed Ground, which is the longest one, longest cooldown
Mm-hmm.
ever. So I wouldn't really recommend if you're actually pulling and it's taking you far too long. If you've basically used your Rampart, for me anyway, if I use my Rampart and then I have to use Sentinel in that
Mm-hmm.
same pool, there's a problem.
Yeah,
That's
it should
yeah.
ideally you should be using one cooldown per pack.
Yeah, that's how I sort of gauge it. If I have to use
Mm-hmm.
Bulwark for the last bits, that's fine. That means I still have Sentinel on the next pool and Hallowed Ground.
Yeah.
So some people bring Anticipation. I'm a Paladin, so Anticipation doesn't really help me a lot because I do have the
Mm-hmm.
block.
Uh-huh.
So, but if you're a warrior, I guess that's alright, and if you're a Dark Knight, that's alright as well to bring
Mhm.
an extra
Yeah.
cooldown.
Also, you need to trust your healers.
Yeah, trust your healers. For me, as long as I can see that they actually have all blue gear and at least the Alamegan weapon, the
Mm-hmm.
Verity, is it Verity? Verity weapon. I'm
Mm-hmm.
more than
Yeah.
happy to do it. So,
Yep.
all right. And I guess this sort of goes into the next topic is when should DPS start using their AoE skills?
Mm, I think this is more of a mathematical question or optimization.
I agree.
Because the first thing as a DPS, if you are playing DPS, read the tooltips of your skills, check their potencies, and it's a simple addition of their potencies. If what is better, like what's a good example? Like
uh,
most skills are, I think it's a what's the term?
I think if you go Dragoon,
Mm-hmm.
the first AoE is like 100 potency for each,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
it goes to 120 is the next one. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have the game open at the moment, but I have just
Mm-hmm.
leveled Dragoon, and basically it's all line AoEs. So it's 100 and then it's 120, I think, for the combo.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
Sonic ones.
Usually the most common situation where you start using AoEs are if there are three
Yeah,
three mobs or more in a pack. Uh, there are some situations that you'll use the AoE skills even if there are two. I think one of those is what's that monk skill?
uh,
Uh,
Earthbreaker?
third one?
Earthshock.
No, sorry.
It's Earth something.
I forgot. I forgot. I mean, it's the third one in the chain where
Yeah.
it's more
Yeah, I know what you mean.
mm,
Rockbreaker. Is it
rock breaker.
Rockbreaker?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. And it's up to you really. No one will,
Mm-hmm.
bag you for using AOE skills. You can actually, if you want, separate two demolishers for if you're a monk, for example. You can
Mm-hmm.
split the two demolish. Basically, you put a
Yep.
dot on one and then you put a dot on the other one.
Oh
You
yeah,
still
yeah,
using single target skills, but at least you got
yeah.
two dots running,
Yeah,
and
you still want that, yeah.
yeah, and it still depends on how long that mob
Mm-hmm.
will live. If you want to put
Yep.
dots, you have to make sure that at least it'll last for the
Yeah, yeah.
entire thing, at least halfway through. And if you're single targeting that, that means if you add that dot, basically, you know, you're single targeting that mob, that means that mob will die much
Mm-hmm.
faster than when you put the dot on. So, to me, for this one, I feel like I would have to at least have four, because usually
Uh-huh.
there's three in a pack. So if
Mm-hmm.
there's four, then I would prefer to use my AOE skills. With 3, it kind of depends, I think. If you're a range, I think they have more higher potency when it comes to AOE or spreading dots if you're a bard. Uh,
Yeah, I think it's more of an efficiency now with your TP or MP.
mm,
Yeah, for example, Black Mage just AoE away because your MP is
infinite.
not gonna run out
Yeah,
anyway.
it's not gonna run out.
Uh, yeah, I remember also as Red Mage, usually the usual Red Mage would spam, what's this, Scatter?
Yeah, scatter.
Yeah, Scatter. But for 3 mobs, I think the correct rotation was Scatter, then either, I forgot the two skills.
Is it
So it's a,
the other AOE skill?
no, it's a single. So
Oh,
AoE single, AoE single. So you can build up your mana. Then maybe for Bard dots and just proc
yeah.
your
Proc your
arrows,
what's that skill? Rain of arrows?
rain of arrows,
Yeah,
I think.
I think it's rain of arrows.
hmm and then yeah, you start spamming your AoEs on 4 mobs and above.
Because I guess from my point of view, I've been like a melee person
hmm
for the good part of the game. And if there's only 3 mobs, I usually just use single target skills because
hmm
basically I can kill them faster in a way. I mean, the potency probably will not add up because the AoE for monk is crap. The first skill AoE for monk is pretty crap. Um,
Yeah.
so, you totally would skip that unless there's 4 more. And then,
Uh-huh.
yeah, Rock Breaker is probably the best one you can use if there's 3. Yeah, I would agree to that. Sometimes I'd spread all my dots, but I haven't actually been playing Monk for a while now. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So if you're a DPS, maybe you can start looking at tooltips. That's one of the good things to do, like Chris said. And if it adds up more than your single target skills, then you're more than welcome to use it. You just have to remember most of the single target skills are basically like a 3 combo thing, right? Usually.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so just keep that in mind, especially if you're melee. If you're range, then that's a whole different rotation. But if you're melee, more for the most part, is a 3 combo. So you have to
hmm
take into account how fast your global cooldown is if you calculate, let's say you do the 3 AoEs versus just your single target. So,
hmm
uh,
Yep.
yeah. So, yeah, that's
Eh.
our advice for the DPS.
Yeah, I just thought of something related.
Yeah.
DPS should start AOing. This is in an ideal situation. What if you're a DPS and you encounter a tank that can't hold their aggro very well?
Mm.
What would what would you do? I
So,
mean,
um, obviously, are you talking about if I AoE and they can't hold the aggro when I AoE?
yes, yeah,
I would probably have to go single target then.
very good.
But to be honest, I think that's kind of rare nowadays. It wasn't rare back in Heaven's Ward,
Yeah, yeah, I do remember that.
but it is quite rare nowadays that tanks can't hold hate when you're AoEing because AoEing has a lower potency.
Yeah, and they
And
increased enmity as well.
yeah, so they like I said, I've been saying this for quite a while. They've dumbed down tanking. So all you need to do is like one flash and that's it. You're gonna keep those mobs.
Really?
Yeah,
I
just
haven't tanked during Stormblood, so
yeah,
I have no idea how
yeah. So
strong it is.
basically, what I do is I'll flash once and then that's it for the most part. I can flash another like for just for so that I can blind them so I don't take too much hits. So I'll wait for the blind to run out and then flash again, so I can dodge some of the skills and like relieve my healer a little bit, you know. But for the most part, you can hold pretty much anything. And if you're a warrior, I'm leveling mine now. I really wish Deli was here. She can get a good point of view on Dark Knight and Warrior because she leveled them. So I would like, just overpower, and that's enough. No one can take hate from me.
Yeah, so just spam your AoEs away then.
Yeah, so if the tank can't, hold hate, there's fundamentally something wrong with them. They either out of MP to do the AoE or out of TP to do the AoE. So those are probably the problem if they actually try and do that. But if it does happen, I feel like I will go to single target. I don't want 3 mobs hitting me. I probably prefer just the 1 mob hitting me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least they're really fast to put down, but you wouldn't have those problems in the first place, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny that you brought this up because when I was looking for topics to talk about this week, I actually saw a post asking like Square Enix to actually dumb down the tank further. They're saying I can't remember, but it was like they were saying it's hard, and keeping hate, you have to think about this and that, and I'm like, dude, it's so easy nowadays.
Okay, I think no offense to World of Warcraft players, but I think he might have come from that game, since I think tanking is simple in that game. Like, get hate, then just survive. Maybe that's...
I haven't played World of Warcraft. That's one of the only MMOs that I actually skipped out because I felt very overwhelmed with that game. Like when I finally got a job and could support playing paid MMOs, there was just like what, three expansions already, and I'm like, I don't think I wanna go in there level 1, and I have no idea, and the graphics just didn't appeal to me that much, especially back in the vanilla World of Warcraft. And I know some people like it. You can hate me for that. That's fine. but it's just something that I never got into. I know lots of my friends play it though. So.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So for the last topic for this week is something that I have seen in the forums as well, and they were asking if these DPS should get more experience during leveling dungeons and roulettes. What are your thoughts?
Wait. So is this question because of tanks and healers getting
faster queues?
Faster queues?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're as a DPS, you wait 20 to 30 minutes longer, and DPS should get more experience out of leveling dungeons.
I think it would be still unfair. This is a hard question to answer.
What do you think? Just first thing that comes to your mind.
Leveling dungeons and roulette. So they want more experience.
Just leveling, for example, you want to queue on a dungeon. You go in there, you wait for 20 minutes. You should get more experience. I think regardless of how long you wait, they want more experience for DPS players.
Yeah, instead of giving more experience to DPS, just give more experience if you've been in the queue for long. That would fix it. Because in cases that there are some cases where you QS DPS and it pops instantly.
Yeah,
And
there are.
if you get more EXP, then that's just unfair to the other members of the party.
Yeah, and I
So
feel like this is like contradicting what Square Enix has been doing.
yeah, I
Like,
mean,
you know how they've been giving tanks and healers for the most part. If you're leveling roulette, you get extra experience because they are the
mhm,
needed
yeah,
jobs. So if you're giving the DPS more experience, basically you're telling the community
hmm
that
yeah,
that want to try tanking,
yeah,
they're gonna get put off.
yeah. You're gonna discourage the other
Yeah,
those
and
others.
Square Enix are trying to encourage the player base to play tanks and healers because
Yeah,
it takes
I
long
don't.
for queues.
Yeah, I don't think it's just me when I speak for people. Tanks and healers have harder jobs than DPS.
I completely agree. Probably not as tanking as much now. I'm pretty sure
Mm-hmm.
healers have a harder job when I was leveling my white mage. I feel like because you need to DPS, you need to heal,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
just it's all around a lot more to do if you're not lazy.
Yeah, if I'm lazy and I want to do my roulettes, I go DPS.
Yeah, DPS is a pretty easy job. All you
It's
need to do is
easy as
damage.
long as you're not in a raid.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I don't know what to say but I do agree maybe if you wait longer, but I don't know how they're gonna
Yeah.
implement that. They're gonna be like, oh, you're 30 minutes, I'll give you 10% more XP or something. I don't know. It's
Something like that, I guess.
yeah, that's gonna be hard to implement, I think. I'm not a
Yeah,
programmer or something, but
yeah. I
that
don't want
sounds
to speak for the
yeah,
development.
that sounds very difficult.
It might be not, but I think that's the best solution if you want to reward your players that are waiting for long. I mean, sometimes as a healer, you also wait for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If
Earlier, I think our expert roulette, we waited at least 10 minutes. I was a healer, and Deli was a DPS, so took a
So
little bit
yeah,
longer.
it's not just DPS who waits.
Yeah, so I guess if anything, they can just boost the experience you get again, but I think it's pretty quick nowadays.
I haven't played for. I've been on a break for about 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, I
So I
feel
don't
like
know.
it's a little bit faster. Usually it takes me about a
hmm
week, to level from 60 to 70. That's doing a lot. My all pretty much every day the leveling roulette, and if I missed
hmm
out on it for some reason, I think two or three, that level dungeon the highest level dungeon you can go, is
Ah,
will probably get you a level up if you got rested experience and if you're using food. But if you don't have
yep.
rested experience, probably longer.
Yeah, and there's also Palace of the Dead now, so
Yeah,
there's that.
Palace of the Dead is basically your 50 to 61.
Yeah,
I think
recommended.
you can do Palace of the Dead at level 60. You probably get less XP. I don't know about lower levels though. If you're like a lower level, I don't know if you're gonna
I can't
get
say now.
yeah, because I haven't tried going in. I have level 30 jobs, though all the Heavens Ward jobs I haven't leveled up.
Oh,
Yeah, so I might try it and see what Palace of the Dead brings, but yeah, if you're really like feeling like the queues are long, Palace of the Dead is probably the best place to go because the queues are quicker and the
mhm.
experience is not that bad.
Yeah, you're not locked into a party configuration, so
Yeah, that's it. You're not locked into anything. And you can pretty much skip a lot of mobs once, the gate is open, once you kill enough.
yeah. Actually, in the early floors, you'd want to have 4 DPS, so you can
Mm,
go much faster.
Yeah, yeah. So there you go, guys. Uh, those are the topics for this week. Thanks for coming, Chris.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, so remember to click like, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful at all. As always, we'd like to hear from you guys what you think of this week's topics, and if you got any topics that you want us to talk about, please leave them down in the comments below. Also, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Munchkins Gaming. This is Munchkins and Chris logging off, and we'll see you guys in the next level. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.